At 40 below, flesh and breath can freeze in minutes. Here, native clothing turned deadly air into something a body could survive.
European wool fought the cold differently, and not always as well.
The secret wasn't toughness. It was what they wore next to their skin.
Fur turned inward, trapped a thick layer of still, warm air. Wool warmed well, but air still slipped through the cloth in fierce wind.
They built warmth in layers, just like their lodges.
Air caught between fur and skin became a living blanket.
Closest to the body came soft hides, then thicker furs for heavy weather.
They covered every gap where heat could leak. Head, neck, and even braids.
Clothing turned their whole body into one sealed, moving bundle of warmth.
Wool warmed, but wind and wet could still sneak through seams and laces.
Their mittens trapped air and blocked wind, so fingers stayed alive. Loose knit wool let the storm nibble at each finger.
Good clothing let them sit still for hours without freezing solid. Hide shed snow and ice. Wool often soaked and chilled as it froze.
They separated sacrificial outer layers from the softer ones that never left the skin.
They protected the insulating fur from wet and wind behind tougher leather.
Their clothing acted like a portable wall of still air wrapped around flesh. Cloth alone could not hold as much quiet air as thick fur.
Layers of hide and fur turned the blizzard into something they could work in. Without fur, even strong wool still left people racing the clock against frostbite.
From hip to heel, they treated each joint and seam as a possible leak. Even a single opening could undo the warmth of good fabric.
Elders taught that you warm the air around you, not just your skin.
Every breath and heartbeat added a little more warmth to that trapped air. Ice lived on the outside of the clothing, not on the person. When ice creeps into the fabric itself, it steals flexibility and comfort. Even with perfect clothing, they doubled up their protection by sharing cover.
Wool needed a big fire to feel truly safe at these temperatures.
In the worst storms, clothing became the last wall between skin and death. Lakota scouts could move, search, and work, even while the air tried to bite.
Settlers often had to choose between staying inside or risking numbing cold.
His exhaled moisture froze on the fur, not on bare skin. Ice near the throat and cheeks stole warmth from the blood itself. They could strip off only the frozen shell and keep the warm core. Without enough layers, drying one garment meant going cold in another. Fur held more tiny pockets of air
than tightly spun wool could manage.
Sliding layers shed snow instead of holding it against the body.
Melted snow inside cloth was a silent thief of heat.
Good clothing let them come home with energy to spare.
Even short trips outside could drain strength if the cold chewed at each layer.
They treated each hide as carefully as a hunter treats his bow. Limited wardrobe meant each piece had to do more than it was truly built for. Their clothing stacked pockets of heat like nesting bowls.
Fewer layers meant more chances for cold to sneak through.
This extra fur will fill the gaps. We must adjust for every body.
They adjusted clothing for elders and the young, not just for average bodies.
Poor fit created holes where warmth poured out and cold rushed in.
Their winter outfits turned them into moving tents of fur around each person.
Hurry up, I'm freezing solid! Get inside!
Even strong wool left them counting minutes until they could reach the fire again.
Warm feet came from thick fur, and no open path for snow to get in.
Cold toes often started where leather and cloth forgot to meet.
They were taught from young which materials truly loved or hated the cold. They valued cloth for many things, but knew fur hides ruled the worst storms.
Without full-body fur garments, they had to improvise with what they had. Sleeping in their layers turned the entire night into a slow, gentle heating process. Every garment was another wall of still air and blocked wind.
Wool did its best, but was not engineered for this particular wind.
These people met 40 below mornings, wrapped in clothing designed for their home. Their wardrobes were not fashion, they were survival systems. Layer by layer, they turned empty space into trapped heat. Where cloth thinned and seams opened, the storm stole from the body. That is how Native American clothing kept bodies warm at 40 below, by trapping air